Wendy, take over the show here for us.
Well, thanks, guys. And it's hard to believe who we featured on this week's Real Deal. AJ Allmandinger might not even be racing with us when we get around to that all-star race after the Coke 600. Right now, he's supposed to step out of this ride with the 44 car for Richard Petty Motorsports. But for the time being, 6 races in, it's the first time AJ Allmandinger has made the first 6 races of the season. And the dividends are paying off for AJ as he is proving himself yet again as he's 15th in points. Here is this week's Real Deal. Anthony James Allmandinger, better known to us simply as AJ. While he burst onto the NASCAR scene in 2006, AJ was already very accomplished on the open wheel side of racing in Champ Car. Having visited Victory Lane 5 times in 2006, AJ knew how to get the job done. In 2006, he was hired as the second driver for newly formed Team Red Bull. While his 2-year stint at Red Bull was rocky to say the least, fans and competitors saw his potential. After parting ways with Red Bull in just months before the 2009 season, AJ signed on to drive a 4th car for newly merged and renamed Richard Petty Motorsports. The dividends are paying off. First off, AJ, here we are, Asheboro, North Carolina at Richard Petty's Golf Classic. A little bit rainy, so we appreciate you joining us. But I got to talk about the start to your season because you're 15th in points, by far your best start. And they would be crazy not to line you up for the rest of the season right now.
Well, I mean, it's been a great start so far. Obviously, Daytona was a great kickoff for the whole organization for Richard Petty Motorsports. Just, I got to sometimes remember that this team only came together 2 weeks before the season started, and that was tough. So throughout the season, I got to keep trying to remember that we're racing against teams that have been together for a long time. So. So far, so good.
Is it possible you could be stepping out of the car after the 600 in May? That just baffles me.
Possibly. I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now. But the way I look at it is, I can't control that. The only way I can control that is go on the racetrack, drive the wheels off the race car, and perform at my best. And if I do that, hopefully everything will take care of itself.
When I look at that 44 car, I think that may be the most improved driver going into 2009. AJ Allmandinger.
Now, this time last year, you were 50th in points. You hadn't made a race. What have you learned, good, bad, or indifferent?
That this may be the toughest sport I've ever been around. I don't think people really understood. When I came here in 07, I had 4 days in a race car before I went to Daytona. And they told me to go make the Daytona 500. It was a tough time, and I think I've learned a lot about myself, how deep I can dig inside and keep going. I mean, there's times that, yeah, sure, I was at home in my basement like, man, I want to quit. This is hard. I don't know if I can make it through this, but you still wake up the next day and you want to get to the racetrack and keep working harder and getting better. All right.
Now, your wife, Lynn, has been by your side through all these ups and downs. A lot of people don't even know she's an established chiropractor. How has her support helped you in your career?
She's been big, and I think it was tough because she's from Toronto, and we got married, and she had her own office in Toronto. So when we both moved to North Carolina, she had to give up her practice, give up her whole life, and make the move here. But I think that was what was tough for both of us. I was struggling. I've never struggled that bad in racing. She's a person that doesn't like to sit around. She needs to be doing something. She's an active person. She has her own career. And she couldn't have her career at that point. She had to go through that process. So she's happy now. I'm happy. I think here at Richard Petty Motorsports, I'm having more fun than I have ever had before in my life. It's just a great group of guys to be around, and the team works hard. And while we're doing that, Lynn's working hard on her career and trying to get every person that injures himself to come see her.
I was doing some research last night, and your driver page was skipped right over. It's not even listed on NASCAR.com. Can you believe that? You're 15. Maybe they don't know that.
Well, I didn't know that either, so we're going to have to talk to somebody. But, it's funny. I look at that stuff, and it doesn't matter to me. I could walk through a crowd of people and have somebody not know who I am or anybody know who I am. I'm okay with that. I'm just, I'm there to have fun and enjoy racing and try to win every weekend, and that's what I'm passionate about. And I just love being in a race car, so.
Maybe it adds fuel to the fire. Motivate you a little bit.
Everything in the world motivates me. I just, I want to win, and if I am winning, I want to keep winning. And like I said, it ultimately comes down to I got to prove myself to myself every weekend, and that's the way I live.
Well, we're going to rally behind you for the next 6 weeks.
Thank you.
You have Spencer and Kenny Wallace behind you, so that says a lot.
Well, for sure, and you know they talk more than anybody on TV. So if they're talking about me, that's a good thing.
It's hard not to become an A.J. Allmandinger fan. Watching his personality and watching him come through the NASCAR Cup garage and how much he's changed. And man, he has some goals set for himself. When we get to Charlotte, to the Coke 600, if that truly is AJ's last ride, he said his goal is to be in the top 12 in points because he said it would make it very difficult if all goes as planned to get him out of that race car. AJ trying to keep his ride, and of course it's all based on many different factors around this team. AJ's doing a great job, 15th right now in points. And we come here to Texas, he starts 25th today, Johnny. He's been here twice. His best finish of 26. So AJ hoping to prove maybe not only to his team, but to himself that he can drive these Sprint Cup race cars.
Wendy, thanks a lot. You know, here in Texas, a guy named AJ has to do very well. And also, let's not forget that family has a great dog, too. Great dog, the Golden Retriever.
And we're talking about